wouldn't it be nice to have several thought leaders in your industry know and love your brand? Start a podcast. Invite your industry's thought leaders to be guests on your show, and start reaping the benefits of having a network full of industry influencers. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to the B2B Growth Show, a podcast dedicated to helping B2B executives achieve explosive growth. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. I'm Jonathan Green.
And I'm James Carberry.
Let's get into the show.
Welcome back to the B2B Growth Show. We are here at the Revenue Summit. I'm with Morgan J Ingram. Morgan, how you doing today, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
So Morgan is the Director of Sales Execution and Evoloution at JBarrows Sales Training. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you have heard an interview that I did with John Barrows. I think I've interviewed him a couple times on the show. Phenomenal voice in the sales community. Morgan came from Terminus, is a sales development rep, SDR, became a SDR manager, and then started really focusing on his personal brand. Was it right, like at the beginning of your career with Terminus, or was it when you became a manager?
It was right at the beginning when I started my career at Terminus.
Okay.
So it wasn't like as soon as I got in the door, it's just like I started making videos, but it was about 3-4 months in, I started realizing, hey, I need to get more involved. I'd read a couple articles. I actually seen Gary Vaynerchuk speak live, and he talked about it too. So it was like there was so many people talking about it that I realized that I need to get more involved with personal brand.
Got it. Okay. So you as an SDR, you have this, realization, I need to really focus on my personal brand. And fast forward 2 years, I'm at this conference with you, and everybody is coming up to you. You've got sales development leaders coming, it's you crazy. And I are in a conversation, and they're like waiting behind you. There's a line forming because people want to talk to Morgan J Ingram.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And I think so many people, I'm obviously a massive advocate for personal branding. This podcast has been huge for my own personal brand and the brand of our business. So where do you feel like people get hung up, or what keeps people from making that jump that you did within 3 weeks of starting at Terminus to really invest and focus on their personal brand?
I think it's a couple of things. I think the number one thing that I told myself, that I actually told myself back in the past, I never create content. I'm not that person. I don't want to be out there. It was because I was afraid of what other people are going to think. I think that's the number one reason why people don't post content, because you don't know what someone's saying when they don't like your comment. You don't know what people are saying behind your back, because there's so much that goes into it. Once you put yourself out there, you're out there. Yeah. So it's what are you going to do on a consistent basis to make sure that you don't go under? Because if no one knows you and you do something, it's okay. But if everyone knows you and you do something, you're going to get backlash.
Yeah. So what was it that got you over that hump?
A mentor. Okay. He told me to stop playing around. He really got aggressive with me. He's like, I don't understand why you're not putting yourself out there. And he was like, you need to start posting videos. I started posting videos on Facebook. It was just motivational videos, real quick, get yourself ready for your day. And I was really afraid at first, because I was like, I don't know what people are going to think. I got my friends on here. I got my family on here. They don't want to hear that. But after a while, I realized that people did want to hear it. I got messages from people that I didn't know that were really resonating with it. I was like, maybe I have something here. Maybe this is something I need to get more involved with. And so that's what got me to be confident when I started the SDR Chronicles, because I was already creating content before. So now I was willing to go in that space and then do that at scale.
So you created a framework, SDR Chronicles.
Yep.
And it was show on YouTube, video show on YouTube. Yeah. Just you behind a camera?
Me behind a camera. So my MacBook Air and my iMovie.
Love it.
That's all I had.
And you came up with, hey, these are I'm an SDR, so I'm just going to start talking about specific issues that I'm facing as an SDR. Yeah. And just recording them in 10, 15-minute videos?
So they were actually, at the beginning, they were 4, 5, 6-minute videos. And it was just me hey, this is how you handle objections. This is how you handle when you get a budget objection. This is how you handle a phone call. This is how you structure your day. This is how you remain consistent. So I was just talking about stuff that I was already doing and stuff that I was struggling with. And a lot of people resonated with that. And then as the show advanced, people wanted to hop on and be interviewed. So I was like, sure, I can do interviews. And more people want to be interviewed. And then it got to the point now where a lot of people want to get interviewed. And then I'm providing daily content on LinkedIn from a sales development perspective. Hey, these are things you guys need to consider.
Love it. All right. So as we were talking kind of right before we hit record, you said that marketers really need to be much more intentional in telling their reps to get more involved in the internal content.
Yes.
So like getting your reps consuming the content that marketing is creating.
Yes.
Talk to us about that. Why is that so important?
That's so important because you're posting content for a reason. You're not just posting content to post content because say we have a blog. It's so that your audience, your customers, and also your future prospects are getting information about your product, obviously, but about the industry and the problem that you're solving. So if you have a ton of content on your website about what your salespeople are selling, why would you not tell them to go read a weekly blog post and then report on it? Yeah. And that may seem outrageous. That may seem mundane. That may seem like, oh, I'm not going to do that. But I guarantee you, if you go read that content and have context around it, your reps are going to become successful. And even deeper conversation is that one sales rep that you can give that to, and then they realize I really enjoy this content, they could share that every single day and add context to LinkedIn, to Twitter, and build a community just off of sharing your own content.
Yeah, I love it. It's something that I actually don't hear anybody talking about, but that emphasis of like marketers, you're spending all this time, you've got entire teams creating all this content, and most of the time sales doesn't even know it exists.
Right.
So go beyond just making sure they know it exists and actually say, hey, like we want you commenting on this stuff.
Yeah.
And like putting out your own, like, hey, these are my thoughts on this article that just came out. Do you think that sales reps have it in their mind that like, no, like that's marketing's job. Like I don't need to be posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah, they're just too focused on the activities. They're like, oh, it's too much time. But like, it's really not. If you go read a blog post, it probably takes you 10 to 15 minutes. Yep. And then to write context around the post is going to take you 15 minutes. Yep. It takes you 30 minutes to post something, which at the end of the day could turn into a lot of different things. It can turn into opportunities. It could turn into you building your brand to get different type of it could end up building your brand to let you get promoted. Like there's so many things that go into it. Yep. So at the end of the day, you're educating yourself. And that's what sales is educating yourself to educate others. Yep. So you have to be able to take the time to learn what your company's posting, because I guarantee you no one else is, and you want that extra edge at the end of the day.
So this last thing we're going to talk about, Morgan, is how marketing can actually help reps create their own content. What have you seen that's worked at JBarrows, at Terminus?
I feel like the best way to get your reps to start creating their own content is asking them what they're excited about. So those reps at Terminus that were excited about certain things, and then we interviewed them or they created their own content, and then that became a blog post. So it's like, okay, you're doing really well with video. Why are you doing really well with video? And the thing is, most people just don't want to write content or do videos, but just get your content editor, get your director of marketing to sit in a room with them for 30 minutes, write down the notes, and then create the blog post on their behalf. Because they have the knowledge in there. They just don't know how to create content. Yeah. I'm just blessed enough that I understand both. But the thing is, like, you have to be able to empower your reps to give you the right information so that they feel empowered to share that blog post because they have their stamp on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I love the medium of podcasting as much as I do, because, I mean, you and I spent a whopping 3 minutes talking through what we wanted to do here. And now we're just having a conversation.
Exactly, yeah.
And our team is now going to turn this into written content.
Right.
It'll be a LinkedIn status update.
It's going to go far,
graphic, like, and it's just a conversation. It's super easy. And so I love the practicalness of, hey, like, you're a VP of marketing, like, get your director of marketing to go just interview somebody on the sales team once a day. Like, hey, what are you excited about? What's tell me about something recently, like a challenge that you recently had that you were able to overcome with a buyer. Yeah. Like, I love what Drift is doing. They're
Drift is
documenting.
awesome.
They're documenting like why customers are leaving, and they're turning that into content. Right. Well, they're having a lot of conversations with their sales team. Right. And their sales team is informing that. But I love the idea of actually like writing it in the voice of the rep. Right. And then really empowering the rep to say, hey, like, that's no longer an excuse. Here's the content. Now you just have to go post it.
That's it.
And engage with the people.
And just engage and then go move forward from there.
And I think once you get over that hump and you start seeing that, at least for me, it's so motivating when you put content out there and you see that people are consuming it. It like fuels me to want to do it more. Yeah. And so I think if you can just help reps get over that initial hump.
Once you're over the initial hump, you're fine.
Yeah. I love it. Morgan, this has been incredible. If there's somebody listening to this, they want to stay connected with you, they want to learn more about JBarrows, what's the best way for them to do that?
Best way to stay connected with me is on LinkedIn. That's actually my most utilized social media. I never thought I'd say that, but it actually is. Morgan J Ingram on there. And then if you want to learn more about JBarrows Sales Training and what's going on with us, it's just johnbarrows.com.
Love it. Yeah. Awesome, Morgan. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This has been fantastic. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
There are lots of ways to build a community, and we've chosen to build the B2B growth community through this podcast. But because of the way podcasts work, it's really hard to engage with our listeners. And without engagement, it's tough to build a great community. So here's what we've decided to do. We're organizing small dinners across the country with our listeners and guests. No sales pitches, no agenda, just great conversations with like-minded people. We'll talk business, we'll talk family, we'll talk goals and dreams. We'll build friendships. So if you'd like to be a part of a B2B growth dinner in a city near you, go to b2bgrowthdinners.com. That's b2bgrowthdinners.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.